In our last class, we solved few problems related to the chapter motion in a straight line. So let us continue the same thing in this class also. So I will solve nearly 20 problems from a chapter such that you can have the grip over the solving problems. So ನೋಡ್ಕೋರಿ ನಾವು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು. ಅಂದಮೇಲೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಡೇಟಾ ಗಿವನ್ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಬರ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಹೆಂಗೆ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ದ ವೇ ನೀವು ಡ್ರಾ ದ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ನೀವು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ಒಳಗೆ. ಸೊ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಬರ್ತಾವೆ. ಸೊ ಈವನ್ ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್, if you write a data and if you draw the diagram and if you end writing the correct proper unit for the physical quantity which has been asked, then you get nearly 2.5 marks. So correct agi data bardu, correct agi diagram tagdu, proper unit hachidra, so you will get a marks. So again here we have a first question for this class. Rain is falling vertically with the speed of 30 meters per second. So mali baratati with the speed 30 meters per second. So mali yavaglu downward direction da bartade. So he is telling vertically. A woman rides a bicycle with a speed of 10 meters per second in north to south direction. So ಒಂದು ವುಮೆನ್ ಅದಾಳ, ಆಕೆ ಶಿ ಇಸ್ ರೈಡಿಂಗ್ ಅ ಬೈಸಿಕಲ್, ಸೈಕಲ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ನಾರ್ತ್ ಟು ಸೌತ್ ಹೊಂಟಾಳ ವಿತ್ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ 10 meters per second. So now what is the direction in which she should hold her umbrella? So what he is asking, so there is a rain which is falling vertically and there is a woman who is riding a bicycle from north to south direction, and now if she wants to hold an umbrella in a proper direction such that she don't get a water drops to fall on her, then what should be the direction in which she should hold her umbrella? So this is the question. So now let's suppose you have a rain which is falling vertically. So this is rain. Now the direction of rain is this. So now there is a woman who is riding a bicycle in the north to south direction. So let's suppose the woman is riding a bicycle from north to south direction. So let this be the north and this be the south. So this woman is riding a bicycle from north to south direction. So let this be VW, that is velocity of the woman, and this be VR, that is velocity of the rain. So now you have two vectors, then you can easily draw the resultant vector. So this be the resultant vector with an angle alpha. But now, so if you take the VR downwards and VW, this, then you get the VR and this as again opposite angles alpha and this opposite direction. So she is going from north to south, but if you take the opposite vector, then this will be minus VW. So again here you have the vectors A, 0, B, C. So now velocity of rain falling vertically downward. So velocity of rain is what? Is equals to VR is equals to 30 meters per second. Now you have a woman, velocity of woman. So that can be written as VW, which is 10 meters per second. So she is moving from north to south. So to protect herself from a rain, the woman should hold her umbrella in a direction of the relative velocity of rain with respect to women. learned what is relative velocity in our previous section. So let us use that. So VRW, the relative velocity of rain with respect to women can be written as what? VRW is equals to VR minus VW. So we are taking velocity of rain with respect to women, so VR minus VW. So magnitude of VW will be what? Root over VR minus VW. Now substitute what is the velocity of rain and what is the velocity of women. So velocity of rain is something 30 square minus 10 square. 3 3 is 9, 1 is 1. So I can write 900 plus. So here, so if you take magnitude, this will be plus 900 plus 100. So that comes as 1000 meters per second. So that can be written as 10 root 10 meters per second. So here VW is negative minus VW. So minus into minus will be plus. So I have written plus here. So now let us find what is tan alpha. Tan alpha. So tan alpha, or what is the angle that is made by VRW. So tan alpha can be written as VW by VR, that is 10 by 30, 0 0 will get cancelled. What remains is 1 by 3, that is fraction of 1 by 3 is 0.333. And now alpha, or tan inverse of 0.333 will be equals to, so alpha as 18 degree 26 minutes. So this is the problem. Hence women, so women should hold her umbrella at an angle 18 degree 26 minutes with the vertical towards south. So this is the solution for the problem. So here you have a second question. A man can swim with a speed of 4 kilometers per hour in a still water. So ನಿಂತ ನೀರೊಳಗೆ a man can swim with the speed of 4 kilometers per hour. So ನಿಂತ ನೀರೊಳಗೆ the speed of swimming is 4 kilometers per hour. So how long does he take to cross a river of 1 kilometer wide? So here we have a river, so this river, so here we have a river, so which has got 1 kilometer wide. So he is asking how much time does he take to cross a river which is 1 kilometer wide. So if river flows steadily 3 kilometers per hour and he makes his strokes normal to the river current. So what he is telling is, so if the water is still, a person can swim in that water at a rate of 4 kilometers per hour. So but the question here is, the river is not still, so river is flowing, ನೀರು ಹರಿಯತಾವ. ಸೊ ಹರಿಯೋ ನೀರಿನ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ 3 kilometers per hour. ಸೊ ಈ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಒಳಗೆ, ಸೊ ಈ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ನೀರಿಂದ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ಹೌ ಮಚ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಟೈಮ್ ದಿಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಟೇಕ್ಸ್ ಟು ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ river. So now here he makes the strokes normal to the river current. So he is going normal to the river current. How far down the river does he go when he reaches the other bank? So next side of the river ಹೋದಾಗ, so ಎಷ್ಟು ಒಳಗಮ ಹೋಗಿರ್ತಾನೆ, how far does the river does he go when he reaches the other bank? So this is the question. So a man can swim with a speed of 4 kilometers per hour in a still water. How long does he take to cross a river 1 kilometer wide if the river flows steadily 3 kilometers per hour and he makes his strokes normal to the river current? How far down the river does he go when he reaches the other bank? So now let's suppose the given data is, so speed of the man is given which is Vm. So Vm is equals to 4 km per hour. So in still water, and we have speed of river, which is what Vr is equals to 3 km per hour. So now width of the river. So width of river is D. So D is equals to 1 kilometer. So the way I have written data, so you also have to write data in this kind, because when you write data in this kind, so the examiner will not get confused about what you have written. So it will be easy for the person to correct the answer scripts. So write data in a manner which I have written in this question. So now what he's taking, what he is asking is, how long does he take? So let's suppose we have a river here. So now I think this is visible. So we have a river here, so which has got the width of 1 kilometer. So width of this river is 1 kilometer. So this is denoted by D. So now a person starts from this point A and tries to move to the point or other side of the river bank. So the velocity of the man is Vm. So he goes in this direction. But the direction of river flowing is in this direction. So this is the direction of the river in which it is flowing. So this is Vm and that is Vr. So now if you take the resultant vector, so the resultant vector will be this. I have explained how to draw the resultant vector. So let this be A, B, C. So this is velocity of the man and this is velocity of the river water. So angle here, so there is angle that is formed by the two vectors, let that be the beta. So now we have to calculate what is the time taken by the man to cross the river. Time taken by the man to cross the river. So that is question mark. So to find time, so there is a formula. So we have to take width of the river by the speed of the man. Then that gives the time. What we should consider? Width of the river and the speed of the man who is traveling. So T is equals to width of the river divided by speed of the man. So T is equals to W by S. So we know that width of the river is 1 kilometer. Speed of the man Vm is how much? It is 4 kilometer per hour. So here I have written. So speed of the man is 4 kilometer per hour. So kilometer will get cancelled. What remains is per hour. So if this hour goes to the numerator, then that will be hour. So that is, or I'll write here, 1 by 4 hour. So convert this hour to minutes. So just multiply 1 by 4 into 60. So that gives 15 minutes. So the person takes 15 minutes to reach the point. Now distance traveled along the river. So that can be written as V velocity is equals to distance by time V is equals to distance by time. So if I need D, then I can write D is equals to velocity into time. So here I am considering the velocity of river. So D is equals to VR. So VR is how much? VR is 3 multiplied by T is, so T we got as 1 by 4. So we get per hour. So here we have 3 kilometers per hour and this is hour. So per hour and hour will get cancelled. What remains is 3 by 4 kilometers. So you can also write this in terms of meters. So not necessary. So even if you write T is equals to 3 by 4 kilometer, then also it is fine. So if you want, you can convert kilometer to meter, or you can convert kilometer to centimeter also. So there's no issues. So but D is equals to 3 by 4 is correct. So this problem for the river is solved. So what you have? So you have a man who is swimming in a flowing water. So the velocity of water is 3 km per hour. So now how much time does he take to cross the river and how far down the river the man goes? So here is the data and the diagram. So now let us move to the other question. So next question is quite a simple question. So this question is on the topic projectile motion. So a cricketer can throw a ball to a maximum horizontal distance of 100 meters. How much high above the ground can the cricketer throw the same ball? So now what this person is doing, he can throw a ball to a maximum horizontal distance of 100 meters. So horizontal range is maximum at an angle 45 degrees. So if this person throws the ball at an angle 45 degrees, then that can cover 100 meters. Now how much high above the ground can the cricketer throw the same ball? So now we have to tell what is the height that a cricketer can throw the ball. So we know that horizontal range of the projectile. So H ನಾವು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಬರಿಬೋದು? H ಅಂದ್ರೇನು? horizontal range of a projectile. ಸೊ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾಸ್ ನೀವು ಬಯಾಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರಬೇಕು. H ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು, T ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು, R ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು. ಸೊ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಗಿವನ್ ಬೈ, ಸೊ H ಹೆಂಗೆ, R ಹೆಂಗೆ ಬರಿತೀವಿ? ಹಾರಿಜಾಂಟಲ್ ರೇಂಜ್. R is equals to U square sin 2 theta divided by G. So if theta is equals to 45 degree, then only R will be maximum. So R will be equals to R max when theta is equals to 45 degree. 45 degree ದಾಗ ಬಾಲ್ ಒಗದ್ರಷ್ಟೇ ಆರ್ ನಮ್ದು ಏನಿರ್ತೈತಿ, ಆರ್ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತೈತಿ. ಸೊ 45 ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ತೊಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಆರ್ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಏನು ಬರ್ತೈತಿ, ನಾನು ಡಿರೈವ್ ಮಾಡೋದಾಗ ಹೇಳೀನಿ. ಆರ್ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ಸ್ ಟು ಯು ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಬೈ ಜಿ. So how did we get this? So if you substitute 45 degree, 45 2s is 90, sin 90 is 1. So this term will comes as 1. So sin 2 theta will be equals to 1. R max is equals to U square by G. But what he has given? He has given R max 100 meters. So substitute that here. So 100 is equals to U square by G. So R max is given to us, that is 100 meters. So if you substitute R max here, so R max value is substitute ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಏನು ಬರ್ತೈತಿ, 100 is equals to U square by G. Now ಏನು ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? when a cricketer throws a ball vertically upward, so the cricketer throws a ball vertically upward, then ball goes up to a height h. So when he throws a ball, the ball covers a height of h. So for that, let us use the equation of motion or the kinematic equation. So v square is equals to u square plus 2as. So we need to find what is s. So s can be written as h. So initially the velocity of the particle will be 0. So v is equals to 0. So what we have is u and 2as, and s I'm taking as h. So substitute this in the equation. V is equals to 0 is equals to u square plus 2. So acceleration due to gravity can be written as minus 3, because the ball is moving in the opposite direction of the acceleration due to gravity. So minus g multiplied by h. So u square minus 2gh is equals to 0. So what I need is h. h or 2gh is equals to u square. So we can write h is equals to u square by 2g. So this is the equation that we got. But we know what is u square by g. Why? Because that we have already done here. So here we have the value for u square by g. Use this value and substitute this in this equation. So h is equals to 1 by 2 into 100. So h will be what? 50 meters. So you have found. So how much distance or how much height the ball can rise if it is projected with the angle of 45 degree from the ground. So this is the solution. So here you have a cricketer. A cricketer can throw a ball to a maximum horizontal distance 100 meters. So yava cricketer ball bagidana, so he can cover 100 meter distance maximum. So how much high? So highest height this ball can go above the ground when a cricketer throw the same ball. So as I said, you should remember the formulas. So I can directly write the horizontal range of a projectile as u square sine 2 theta by g. So in the topic, while I was discussing the projectile motion, I have discussed when this r will be maximum. So r will be maximum when theta is 45 degree. So when you substitute 45 degree, so ಇಲ್ಲಿ 45 degree substitute ಮಾಡಿದ್ರ 45 2s is 90 degree. So sin 90 is 1. So sin 90 is 1. So u square multiplied by 1 divided by g will be what? R is equals to u square by g. So that is what I have written here. So namage R max is 1 to u square by g. So in the question he has given what is R max. R max he has given as 100 meters. So 100 is equals to u square by g. So next, so to find height, so you have to use the equation of motion. So sometimes you get confused like which equation to use. So as you solve the problems more and more, then you will have the idea of which equation to use. So here the initial velocity of the ball is 0. So I can use this simple equation to find what is the h. So out of 3 equations, I can use this equation. So we know the So here the initial velocity is not 0, final velocity is 0. Why final velocity is 0? Because when he throws, the ball comes to the ground and at the ground the velocity of the ball will be 0. So I think before also I said u as 0, so I am sorry, u is not 0. Initial velocity is not 0. I'm really sorry, u is not 0. So when a cricketer throws a ball, the ball goes like this and falls back to the ground. So at the ground, the velocity of the ball will be 0. So we should take v is equals to 0. So when you take v is equals to 0, u square plus 2 minus g into h. So u square minus 2gh is equals to 0. So now what we need is h. So write the equation in terms of h. h is equals to u square divided by 2g. So h is equals to half multiplied by 100. So h is equals to 50 meters. So the ball can go nearly 50 meters height from the ground. So this is the solution. Hope you all have understood. I'm really sorry for this part. So I guess I have said initial velocity is 0. So that is wrong. Final velocity of the ball is 0. I repeat, final velocity of the ball is 0. Initial velocity is not equals to 0. So next question which you have here is a stone tied to the end of a string 80 centimeters long and drilled in a horizontal direction with a constant speed. So ಒಂದು ದಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಕಲ್ಲು ಕಟ್ಟಿ ತಿರುಗಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಸ್ಟೋನ್ ಟೈಡ್ ಟು ದ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಒನ್ ಎಂಡಿಗೆ ಕಲ್ಲು ಕಟ್ಟಿ ತಿರುಗಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಹೌ ಮಚ್ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಂಗ್? ಸೊ ದ ಲೆಂತ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ 80 ಸೆಂಟಿಮೀಟರ್. ಸೊ ಆ ದಾರದ್ದು ಅಳತೆ ಎಷ್ಟಿರ್ತೈತಿ? 80 ಸೆಂಟಿಮೀಟರ್. So this stone is drilled in a horizontal circle with a constant speed. So here the speed of the stone is not changing. So constant speed. So with the constant speed, the stone is drilled in a horizontal circle. Now if the stone makes 14 revolutions in 25 seconds. So what he has given the number of rotations that is done by the stone in the time. So from this you can find the frequency and the time period. So what is the magnitude and direction of acceleration of the stone? So simple. What we have to find? So we have to find what is magnitude and what is direction of acceleration. ಸೊ ಒಂದೆರಡು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ನ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಲ್ಲಿಂತ ನಂಗೆ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ಟು ನೋ. ಸೊ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಿಪಿಟಲ್ ಆಕ್ಸಲರೇಷನ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಹಿ ವಿಲ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ದ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್. ಸೊ ನಿಮಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ದ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ಮೇಲೆ you should be in a position to tell what is the direction of acceleration. So hope you all have understood this question. So ಒಂದು ದಾರ ತಗೊಂಡು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಲ್ಲು ಕಟ್ಟಿ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ಒಳಗೆ ತಿರುಗಿಸ್ತಾರೆ and the length of that ದಾರ is 80 centimeter. So now we should tell what is the magnitude and direction of acceleration. So now let us see. So in a uniform circular motion you have seen AC is equals to what? V square by R. So this we have discussed in the uniform circular motion, and in that centripetal acceleration AC can be written as V square by R, and this can also be written as R omega square. And this acts on the body whose direction will be always towards the center. So towards the center there will be the centripetal acceleration. So now what he has given the length of the string. So from that I can write radius of the horizontal circle. Radius of the horizontal circle. So which will be equals to what? Length of the string. So which is equals to how much? 80 centimeter, or you can also write this in meters. So if I take this will be 0.8 meters. So radius of the horizontal circle which is created by the string and stone is 0.8 meters. So now let us find what is frequency of revolution. So frequency is 1 by time period, 1 by t. So 1 by t. But here we know how many rotations that a stone has made in a given time. So it has made 14 revolutions in 25 seconds. So this we can write as 14 by 25 per second. So unit of frequency is per second, or the standard unit of frequency is hertz. So I can also write this as 14 by 25 hertz. So we found what is the frequency of revolution. Now let us find angular speed of the revolution of the stone. So angular speed find ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. So omega is equals to 2 pi f. 2 pi f. Right. So I know what is pi. Pi is 22 by 7. We know what is f. F we got as 14 divided by 25. 7 ones, 7 twos. 2 twos 4. 4 22s is 88. So I can write this as 88 divided by 25. So this will be what? Rad per second. This is angular speed of the revolution of stone. Omega is equals to 88 divided by 25 rad per second. Hope this is clear to you all. Now let us find what is centripetal acceleration of the stone. Centripetal acceleration of the stone, which is what? R omega square. So to multiply omega square, so we have found omega first. So whenever the question is asked, first you have to understand which question to solve and what are the other physical quantities which you need to solve that physical quantity. So we needed omega, so we have solved for that. So let us use this here, which is A is equals to R omega square. So now substitute what is R and what is omega square. R is 0.80, omega is 88 divided by 25. So there is a square here. So A is equals to 0.8 into 88 by 25 whole square. So you can also write this as 0.8 into 88 divided by 25 multiplied by 88 divided by 25 and solve this. So if you solve, then you get 9.91 meters per second square. Solve these mathematical forms. Don't just directly write the way in which I am writing. So solve, take the calculator, solve and write the answer. So now this direction of acceleration is towards the center of the horizontal circle, so along its radius. So if you don't understand, then you go back to the centripetal acceleration. There I have clearly showed you what will be the direction of acceleration. So the direction will be along the radius towards the center. Direction of the acceleration is towards the center of the horizontal circle along its radius. So this is the overall solution for the question on the centripetal acceleration. So we found what is the magnitude of the centripetal acceleration and what is the direction of the centripetal acceleration. So why did we find omega here? Because the A is equals to R omega square is there. So because of that we found what is omega. So to find omega we need to find frequency. So frequency can be found by using 1 by T. So all these things you need to understand which physical quantity do we need to solve and what are the physical quantities that are required to solve that last physical quantities. And then you should always know the basic things like velocity, acceleration, frequency, time period and the units for all these basic physical quantities. So even if you don't know the big formula, so if you don't memorize the big formulas, you can also sometimes you can also use this simple basic formulas and you can calculate the answer. So this happens sometimes. So every time you need to keep in your mind the formulas. So if you know the formulas, then only you can solve the problems. So if you are very much good in physics, then you can use other formulas and solve the problem. So still we are in the basics of physics. So you need to understand these simple quantities like frequency, angular velocity, angular acceleration, what are the units for this frequency, time period, all these things you need to be clear. So if you are clear with the basic things, then you need not to worry about the problems at all. So sometimes the physics appears to be difficult, but if you are good at the basics, then I promise the physics is not at all the difficult concept to learn. So physics is not difficult to learn, but what is required for physics to learn is mathematics. So mathematics is the language of physics. So without mathematics, physics is almost like nothing. So if you are good at mathematics, then you are equally good at physics. So here you need to understand the theory to solve the problems. So if you understand the theory clearly, then you can easily score in this subject. Physics is not a difficult subject to understand, but what you need is you need mathematics and logic to solve the physics problems. You can solve a problem by using any formula. So that is absolutely okay to solve the problem with any formula. So you need not to use the same formula which I have used in the lectures. You can try and understand. So which are the other methods that are possible to solve the problems. So I also request you to solve few simple problems on the CET pattern. So like theory questions. So there will be basic questions. So sometimes he may also ask what is the unit of force. So that is Newton. So that kind of problems per day, 5 questions if you solve, then you can have the grip over this subject. Try to solve nearly like 2 theory problems and 2 problem based problems in a CET books. So you can buy a CET books anywhere. So outside you can get the CET books. Take those books and learn methods in which they try to solve. So for CET you cannot spend much time to solve the problems, so you need to be fast. So if you be fast in solving the problems, then you can easily score marks in this CET examination. So that will also be not difficult for you people. So if you are continuously practicing the problem, so If you think that at the end 1 month or 2 months I'll sit and learn the physics, and if I'll sit and do the problems, then that will be difficult. So from today itself you should start solving 1 to 2 questions based on the topics which I will discuss in the class. So this is the some kind of picture like how the physics works. So here we solved 18th question. So this is the complete solution for this. So now let us move to the next question. 19th question. An aircraft executes a horizontal loop of radius 1 kilometer with a speed of 900 km per hour. Compare its centripetal acceleration with the acceleration due to gravity. So we have to compare AC by A. A is acceleration due to gravity. So here the problem is based on the centripetal acceleration again. So what is there in the question? There is an aircraft which executes the horizontal loop. The radius of this loop is 1 kilometer and the speed of this aircraft is 900 kilometer. So what you have to do, you have to calculate the centripetal acceleration and then you have to compare this with the acceleration due to gravity. So hope you know the value of acceleration due to gravity. So the value of acceleration due to gravity is 9.8 meters per second square. Sometimes to calculate the problems easily, we can also take acceleration due to gravity is 10 meters per second square. So now let us start. So what we have, radius of horizontal loop, that is R, which is equals to 1 kilometer. 1 kilometer is equals to how much? How many meters? 1000 meters. 1 kg is equals to 1000 gram. 1 kilometer is equals to 1000 meters. Now speed of the aircraft is how much? 900 kilometer per hour. Now convert this kilometer per hour to meters per second. So 1 kilometer per hour is equals to 5 by 10 meters per second. This is not 5 by 10, this is 5 by 18 meters per second. So let us convert this 900 kilometer per hour to meters per second. So that will be how much? 900 into 5 by 18. So 9 ones, 9 twos. So here 100 is left. So 2 ones, 2 half is 50. 50 is 100. So 5 is 25. What will be left is 250 meters per second. So 900 kilometer per hour is equals to 250 meters per second. So now let us calculate the centripetal acceleration of the aircraft. So which is what? A is equals to V square by R. So aircraft gets the centripetal acceleration of V square by R. So we know what is V square. V is 250 meters per second whole square divided by R is 1 kilometer, that we have converted to meter, that is 1000. So if you solve, then you get 25 twos is 625 and there comes 2 zeros and 1000. 0 0 0 0 will get cancelled. There is a 10 divided by 625. So there comes 1 decimal point here. So A will be equals to 62.5. 0.5 because there's a 10 here. So 10, if the 10 goes upside, then that will be 10 power minus 1. So if you multiply that to this number, then you get 62.5 unit is meters per second square. So this is acceleration due to this is not acceleration due to gravity, this is centripetal acceleration. Now acceleration due to gravity G is 9.8 meters per second square. So this we know. Now let us calculate what is A divided by G. A is what? Centripetal acceleration. G is acceleration due to gravity. So A we got as 62.5 meters per second square. This is 9.8 meters per second square. So meters per second square will get cancelled. 625 divided by 98 will be 6.38. A by G is this much. So if you take only centripetal acceleration, that is 6.38 times of acceleration due to gravity. So this is the solution. So here you have the solution for the given problem. So what we have done here, first we have taken the radius of the horizontal loop, and that is 1 kilometer, and we have converted kilometer to meter because we know acceleration due to gravity in meters per second square. So if that is in meters per second square, then you have to calculate centripetal acceleration in meters per second square. Then only it will be useful for you to cancel out the units and get the ratio. So radius of horizontal loop is 1 kilometer, that is 1000 meters. 1 kg is 1000 gram, 1 kilometer is 1000 meters. So speed of aircraft is 900 kilometer per hour. So again you should convert this to meters per second. So 1 kilometer is equals to 1 kilometer per hour. So this formula you should remember. So this is important. If you know this, then you can directly convert kilometer per hour to meters per second. Now we know 1 kilometer per hour is equals to 5 by 18 meters per second. So multiply that to 900. Then you get this 900 kilometer per hour to 250 meters per second. So 900 into 5 by 18 will give 250 meters per second. Next, centripetal acceleration of the aircraft. A is equals to V square by R. We got as 250 meters per second, so square of that and divided by 1000. So if you solve this, then you get A is equals to 62.5 meters per second square. So to solve this problem, what you should know is G value. So remember this G value. So sometimes in a question they won't mention the value of G. So you should know what is the value of G. So G is equals to 9.8 meters per second square. So A by G, 62.5 meters per second divided by 9.8 meters per second square. So this is meters per second square and this is meters per second square. So cancel out the units. What you get is just the ratio of centripetal acceleration divided by acceleration due to gravity. So that is A is equals to 6.83 times the acceleration due to gravity. So this is the solution for the given question. So hope you all have understood the question. So try try doing few more problems or try solving few more problems on the concepts which I have discussed in the motion in a plane chapter. So there's no deduction from this chapter. In the last chapter I think they have removed one concept. I will tell you in the next class, or I hope you all have got that PDF which gives you the information about how many topics has been deleted from the chapter. So if you have that PDF, then go through the PDF and try to understand which are the topics that were deleted from the chapter. So that PDF is sent in the group that might be sent I think 2.5 weeks before. Check for the PDF. So if you want to know how many topics has been removed. So for now, this is the solution for the 19th question.